Hey, what's up guys? My name is Will Ortega. I am one of the co-hosts and team captains of Flex Start Disc Golf. And today we're going to be going over what's in my bag. Okay, to start out, we are going to be looking at my putt and approach. Obviously, the most important part of that is what am I putting with? I'm putting with these classic Moonshine Judges Chris Clement Signature Series from last season. They're exactly what I'm looking for. The plastic gives me what I feel is like the exact grip that I want. Nice beaded putter. The Judge is a great beaded putter if that's what you're looking for, and this plastic is awesome. So love the Judge. Then I've also got this Exosoft Link, super beat up. It's been in my bag for a while now. You're always kind of looking for that beat up throwing putter, and this is exactly what that is. Super beat up, nice and understable, great disc. I've got this Proton Pilot from Streamline. The plastic is great, Streamline makes great plastic, and the Pilot is like the exact feel in the hand that I want from a premium throwing putter. It holds up to the wind perfectly here in Oklahoma, and it will like stay consistent to its line. It is a super great disc. I've got this almost brand new, it's been thrown a handful of times, classic Judge that I actually got from our other co-host John for being in his wedding. I actually got a couple of those. I always like to have like a brand new, like not super beat up putter that I work into the super beat up putter. So right now I've got this orange Judge that I'm kind of working in, and this is a slot that obviously rotates in a lot of different discs, but right now I've got this Judge in there and I'm really loving it. And finally, I've got this A3. I was not a huge zone guy, so but I needed the overstable approach slot, and the A3 was like exactly what I was looking for. It perfectly fits in my hand exactly what I want it to. It's nice and overstable. It does exactly what I need it to do. It's definitely super workable, but also still got that overstability to it for sure. So I love the A3. Obviously all the Prodigy pros are throwing them all over the place. So it's a great disc, and that is all of my putt and approach. Next up, we've got mids. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Will, you're not that good. You should definitely have more mids, and you are totally right. But that's constantly a slot that I'm like kind of working in and out of, is trying to figure out how many mids I want, how many mids I need, and just kind of the different slots that I'm looking for. Right now, I've got this VIP Tersus from Westside Discs. It's one of the first discs that I ever had. It's a super understable mid. It doesn't get brought out a lot. It's really specific shots, like it's crazy understable, so it doesn't really always get brought out a lot, but it is a great disc to have, especially like in the woods, tunnel shots, like stuff like that. Super great disc to have. And then the next step up in stability for me is this Crystal Sparkle Buzz from this year's Ledgestone, like limited edition run. When I bought it, it was supposed to be a little bit more of an overstable run of Buzz, but it came out and it was like dead straight. It holds like whatever line I put it on, flips up a little bit when I throw it on hyzer, but it is a great, like everyone's looking for a point and shoot mid-range, and that's exactly what this is for me. Super great disc, definitely kind of looking for a slot in between, like a little bit more understable than this, but not as understable as the Tersus. But for right now, this is where my mids are at. And then I've got this Buzz OS. It was like a perfect gap fitter for me between like that straight Buzz that I've got to a little bit more overstable, especially out here in Oklahoma. It gets pretty windy, so you need something. I like to throw mids a lot, so I like to have something that I know that I can trust to fight the wind. So this Buzz OS is kind of like that perfect flight where if it's windy, I can definitely still trust it into the wind and it's not gonna get absolutely tossed all over the place. But if I throw this hard, I can still I can get it to go pretty straight, but it'll have like definitely a little bit of a finish on it. So it's a great disc to have. And lastly, I've got this Mutant. The Mutant has been one of my favorite discs since I got it in the bag. It is exactly what I'm looking for out of like a super overstable forehand approach disc. It perfectly complements the A3 that I have. It's more overstable. I can throw it a little bit farther on forehand and on backhand, but it is like reliably overstable. I've had this one for a while, thrown it a bunch since I got it, and it is still pretty much just as overstable as the day that I got it. So I'm really loving the Mutant, and another great disc from Discmania. And right now, that is currently all of my mids. All right, we're just gonna jump into these fairway drivers. I got a bunch of these. For flippiest, I've got this Neo Essence. It's a Triumph series from last year. The Essence is a great understable disc. Comes out to flippy like right out of the box. Brand new, it'll be flippy. Love having the Essence in the bag. Reliable flippy fairway driver. Always great to have. This Roadrunner, I had lost another Essence before I put that one in the bag. And this Roadrunner was supposed to be in that slot, and this one, for some reason, it is definitely working in more now, but the first few weeks that I had it, it was like far more overstable than any other Roadrunner I'd ever thrown. But it's definitely working its way in there. It's still like way more overstable than any other Roadrunner I've thrown, but I like having this disc in the bag. I'm still trying to work through it, trying to figure out where it kind of slots in my bag. I've got this Leopard 3, it's from a tournament stamp out here in Oklahoma, but it is always great. I love having the Leopard 3 in the bag. It's understable, a little bit straighter than like a Roadrunner or an Essence, but definitely a unique flight shape in comparison to like other straight to understable fairway drivers. Then we've got my favorite fairway driver, the T-Bird 3. I've got 3 of them. And all different kinds of stabilities. I'd watched enough in the bags, and that was like what all the pros said to do, is like find your favorite mold and just get a bunch of them. So this is what I did. This Anthony Barella T-Bird 3 color glow plastic. It's definitely the most understable out of these 3. And then this Ricky Wysocki T-Bird 3, it's been pretty beat up at this point. It's pretty straight. It'll definitely finish a little bit. It just kind of depends on how good I'm throwing the disc that day, but this is like definitely more of the straight to definitely straight, not necessarily understable at all, but like more point and shoot, like kind of fairway driver for me. And then this Ricky Wysocki T-Bird 3 is a little bit more consistent with like that run, at least for me and the guys that I know that threw them. It came out like pretty overstable for what we would think a T-Bird 3 is. And this one is that. It is pretty overstable. Obviously it's not like a Firebird or anything like that, but it is super consistent. Like throw it flat and you can get some good distance out of it, and it will like get a pretty reliable finish to it. So I love being able to cover like 3 different slots with one style of rim, and it's a disc that I really like having in my bag. Then I've got these Firebirds. These are obviously mainly for forehand thumbers, just stuff like that. This one, cool stamp. It is exactly like what I want a Firebird to feel like in my hand. It's a little bit workable, like a little bit gummy on the inside, but like closer that you get to the rim, it's more stiff. This is great. It's starting to get like beat up and be a little bit more straight and like way more workable. So that's the reason that I got this one in, this Snake Hide Memorial. It's like a luster type plastic, and obviously it's a brand new Firebird. It's going to be overstable. So I like to have kind of that like straighter and then one that's like pretty overstable Firebirds to sort of balance each other out and to complement each other. But that is all my fairway drivers. finally we're gonna get into some of the fun stuff, the distance drivers. For like that flippy slot, I've got this Halo turn. It's not super flippy for me quite yet. It's not that beat in. I've sort of been working through this slot. Had a couple of flippier distance drivers that I had lost, so I'm trying to figure out that slot right now. I've got this nice beat up Wraith. The Wraith has become one of my favorite discs to throw for a forehand, and this one is perfect. It's like it's not so beat up yet that it can't handle the wind, so I can still trust this in just about any wind to do what I want for it, and that's to get like a nice like hyzer flip up and get some turn, and then get some finish on my forehand. And then for a backhand, this is great, like easy distance for a backhand. So I love having the Wraith in there. Then I've got these 3 different like star destroyers. I've got this super beat up Ricky Wysocki destroyer. It's like the neutral flying destroyer out of like all of these. It'll definitely get some turn, but I wouldn't call it flippy, wouldn't call it overstable. I think it's like right in the middle, and that's always like a slot that I'm looking to fill in my bag with the destroyer. Then I've got this no signature line Star Destroyer. These absolutely bomb. I don't know if it's like this specific run or what the deal is, but these get like a ton of turn and still have like reliable finish for a forehand. I think if I threw this one right like in a field, I think this is probably like my farthest flying forehand disc in my bag right now. So it's just always fun to have like a new disc that you're kind of working through, but that you know has like potential to be like such a good disc for you. So love this destroyer. And then this destroyer has been one of my most like consistent forehand discs since I got it, and it is like still holding on to like its overstability so much. Obviously it's not as overstable as it was when I first got it, but now it's like beat up where it's like if I throw it on hyzer, it can at least flip up the flat, but it's still gonna get so much finish. And I think it's like as I'm beating it in, it's just getting more and more workable. But yeah, I think that right now this is still my favorite forehand disc, and it's also definitely usable for a backhand. For me, this is probably like the most overstable I'm gonna go for a backhand. But yeah, this disc is super cool. Then I've got these 2 Halo destroyers. This one is definitely the most workable of the 2. I don't know if it's this specific run or what the deal is, but this one, it will hold like a ton of turn. Like if I throw this on a flex forehand line, it'll hold that turn for way longer than you would expect a Halo destroyer to, but it still gets that like super consistent fight out of the flex at the end of its flight. So it's always great to have like a super overstable disc, and then especially for me out here in Oklahoma, it's always nice to have a disc that I know for sure that like the wind is very rarely blowing hard enough or in a way where I don't feel confident to throw this Halo destroyer. So then lastly, I've got this nice beat up Calvin destroyer, Halo destroyer. It is crazy overstable. It's the most overstable disc in my bag, and it's like not even close at all. So it's always nice to kind of have those in the bag. Hopefully it'll beat up one day where it's usable, but right now it's just kind of in there because it's a Halo disc, so it's cool to have in there. And you never know when you're gonna need like that super crazy overstable disc to come out, but doesn't come out of the bag a whole lot for me. But it's always nice to have. And that's all my distance drivers. And really quick, we're gonna go over the bag. I've got the Upper Park Rebel bag. It's been a super great upgrade for me. I really like the aesthetic of it. I think it's a lot more unique than a lot of the disc golf bags that are out right now. But it's got all the normal stuff, crazy amount of disc storage, hooks and handles and clasps for everything that you could need. It's got a lifetime warranty. So yeah, if you're looking to upgrade, the Rebel's been a great bag for me. Super lightweight, super durable, but it's been great. And that's gonna do it for my In the Bag. If you don't mind, follow us on Instagram, check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and leave us subscribe, leave us a like, give us a review. Follow us here on our YouTube channel, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, all that good stuff. And as I always say, if you miss a putt low, it's because you really didn't want to make it.